imitations or pastiches, simply found more of the same, not having detailed information to separate the wheat from the tares. This has made critical assessment of the Conan stories a difficult thing. The Texan has often been judged on writings that were either not his or had been tampered with. Howard himself suggested why the stories should not be presented in the order they occurred in the character's life. "In writing these yarns, I've always felt less as creating them than as if I were simply chronicling his adventures as he told them to me. That's why they skip about so much, without following a regular order. The average adventurer, telling tales of a wild life at random, seldom follows any ordered plan, but narrates episodes widely separated by space and years as they occur to him. Consequently, the stories in this volume are published as they occurred to Howard, in the order they were written, and as they were written by Howard. No pastiches, no changes for the sake of consistency, no rewriting. Such a presentation not only respects Howard's intentions, it also casts a very different light on the character and his evolution, and provides us with new insights to some of the major themes of the series. At the time the December 1932 issue of Weird Tales went on sale, Howard was becoming one of the magazine's pillars. The magazine had published the Texan's first professional story, Spear and Fang, in July 1925, and over the years his tales had been appearing with increasing frequency between its covers. He had won his first cover with Wolf's Head in the April 1926 issue, and had introduced the fan-favorite character Solomon Kane with Red Shadows in August 1928, again featured on the cover. A year later, Howard had won the admiration and respect of his peers, most notably Howard Phillips Lovecraft, with his two stories about Kull of Atlantis, The Shadow Kingdom, and The Mirrors of Tuzun Thun, published in the August and September 1929 issues. It can be said that Robert E. Howard had been a protege of Weird Tales editor Farnsworth Wright. Wright nurtured the young Texan's burgeoning talent, and would later describe him as one of his literary discoveries, as well as a genius and a friend. Wright was indeed an unusual editor. In a world of formula and cliché-ridden pulp magazines, Weird Tales often lived up to its subtitle, The Unique Magazine, walking a fine line between the magazine's commercial imperatives and Wright's literary inclinations. While Lovecraft would often have his tales rejected, unable or unwilling to submit to Wright's editorial requirements or suggestions, Howard was more flexible. Studying and anticipating his editor's needs, he had no problem turning out dozens of formula stories, with the occasional gem here and there, for such generic magazines as fight stories or action stories. On the other hand, the Texan had genuine literary leanings, most evident in his poetry, but for which there was no viable market. Weird Tales came at the right time for the young writer. This atypical magazine published a large number of Howard's poems, as well as the cream of his fiction, the tales of Solomon Kane, Kull, Bran Macmorn, and Conan the Cimmerian. Not coincidentally, of all his rather numerous characters, Howard wrote poems about only those four, if we accept Cimmeria as a poem about Conan's homeland. The Texan was evidently more involved when writing Conan tales than he was when writing for more generic markets. It is significant to note that the first Conan story was a rewrite of a Kull story, By This Axe I Rule, completed in 1929. Like the Conan tales, the Kull stories were centered around the exploits of a barbarian adventurer in exotic countries of Earth's mythical past, but there ends the similarity. Between 1929 and 1932, Howard had developed new ambitions for his fantasy stories. He had, first of all, succeeded in selling some historical fiction, which gave him the occasion to write on the epic scale. Howard infused those stories with an intensity that has been rarely equaled, delivering memorable tales of the later Crusades. He excelled at depicting the slow decay of the once powerful empire of Outremer.